Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Halloween baby blanket. This is a very beginner-friendly tutorial. I hope you guys really enjoy it. Please, if you like my videos, like, comment, and subscribe. Before we begin, I want to see how good your crochet eye is. Somewhere in this section of the blanket, I made a mistake. If you can see it, tell me what it is in the comment section below. Okay, to make this blanket, what you're going to need is a yarn needle, orange yarn that is a medium number 4, black yarn that is also a medium number 4, a pair of sharp scissors. I'm using a 5.0 millimeter hook, or in the US, a size H. Alright, I'm going to do the first 3 rows with you. Starting with a slip knot on your hook, you're going to chain 101. I'll meet back up with you when we all have 101 chains. Alright, so here's the chain of 101. We're going to be doing single crochet off of the foundation chain. So if you want to use the single crochet foundation chain, you would want to have 100 stitches. But for now, in the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet into the back loop. So remember, the loop on your hook never counts as a chain. There's our first chain, that's our second chain. We're going to do a single crochet into the back bump. And you're going to do a single crochet in the back bump of every chain until you get back to the beginning. Alright, so finished with row 1. To start row 2, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Your first stitch is going to be a regular single crochet. Don't confuse your chain 1 as a stitch. If you pull it off to the side, you can see that it extends past your foundation chain, so you know that's not a stitch. This is your first stitch right here. So we're going to place a single crochet into that first stitch. And then going down the row for row 2, we're going to be doing a single crochet in the back loop until we get to the last stitch. So stitch 1 is going to be a regular single crochet into both loops. 2 through 99 are going to be single crochets into the back loops, and stitch 100 is going to be a regular single crochet into both loops. To show you how to do the back loop, if you turn your work facing you, you can see this is our next stitch, and you have like a V. You only want to grab the V that's furthest away from you, that's the back loop. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and finish your single crochet. And what that does is it makes the front loop pop out. And as we go on, it's going to look like the veins of the pumpkin. So continue down this row, doing single crochet in the back loop only, and I'll meet back up with you at the end. Alright, so I'm coming to the end of row 2. Got a couple more stitches left. In the back loop only. And I have one more stitch left in this row. And the last stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet as normal in both loops. And as our project builds, what this is going to do, it's going to help us have a cleaner edge for when we put our border on later. And as you can see, we have that vein of the pumpkin starting to pop up by only working in the back loop. Alright, so for row 3, I'm going to chain 1 and turn your work. And in row 3, we're just going to do a regular single crochet in every stitch in both loops all the way across. And I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 3. So again, all the way across, all we're doing is just regular single crochets in both loops all the way down. Okay, so I'm on my last stitch of row number 3. And rows 2 and 3 are the repeats. So you're just going to keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until you have 200 rows. And I will meet back up with you at that point, and I'll show you how to put the border on. With this project, you really don't need to use a row counter, because all of the ridges or the veins of the pumpkin that you have created should be on one side, and your other side should be flat. And every ridge is 2 rows. So if you lose count, just 2, 4, 6 until you figure out how many rows you've done and how many more you need to go, and that's how you can keep track of your rows. So again, I'll meet back up with you when you have 200 rows. Alright, to make the twisting rope border, there's other videos on how to do this, but they don't really explain to you how tangled your yarn is going to get. So one way you can help prevent that is to make 2 yarn balls and put them in your yarn bowl. And every time you switch colors, just flip your bowl. And that'll help your yarn from getting really twisted. There's other videos on how to do similar borders to this, but they don't exactly tell you how bad your yarn is going to get twisted or how to prevent it. So this should help it be a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable to do, because when you get going and it gets all tangled, a lot of people just give up and they say, okay, I'm never doing this again. Now another thing, when you actually start the border, it's better if you go down one size hook. So I started with an I. So for the border, I'm going to go down to an H. But the blanket we made that with a H. So you would go down to a size G. And I'm not using the black because it's not going to show up that good on camera. Okay, so I've made a slip knot with the blue yarn. You would be using the black yarn, and you're going to chain 1 and do a single crochet where you tied on. And as you pull your yarn out of the bowl, you don't want to pull a lot of slack out. The less slack you have, the easier it is to keep your 2 yarns from getting twisted up too bad. So now that I've tied on with the blue and I've done a single crochet, I'm going to chain 3. And then so this doesn't come undone, you're going to pull up a loop, tied on with the orange, chain 1, and you're doing this in the next stitch. So if you tied on here with the blue, the very next stitch you're going to tie on with the orange, and then you're going to do a single crochet after your chain 1 in that stitch. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull out some slack, not too much. Pull up a loop. Then we're going to go back, we're going to pick up the blue yarn. And we're going to be folding the blue over the orange. So because we're going blue over orange, you're just going to take your bowl, take the blue bowl, and put it over your other color. And you just stopped it from twisting. So just push this one back, find your next stitch, which is going to be right there, and you're going to attach with a single crochet. Then you're going to chain 3, pull up a loop. Now we're going to bring the orange over the blue. So let's put our hook back into the orange. Tighten it back up around the hook. Now, so we're going orange over blue. We're going to take the bowl with the orange, put it over the blue. We just stopped our yarn from twisting. So you're going to push the blue back, and you're going to do a single crochet into the next stitch with the orange. Then you're going to chain 3, pull up a loop. Now it seems like this can be kind of tedious, but after you get like 10 or 12 folds in, you're going to start to get into a rhythm, and it's going to start going a lot quicker. And what's great about this border is it doesn't really pull or scrunch your work, so it's actually very helpful and handy when you're going down the side of your project. And you could do this with 2 colors, you could do this with 2 strands of the same color. Like if you made a blanket and it was all one color, you could just do 2 strands of the same color and give it a nice textured border without splashing any extra color into your project. So now that we've done the orange, we're going to push the orange back, put our hook into the blue loop, tighten it back up. So now we're going blue over orange. So take your blue, put it over the orange. Every time I say blue, you should be using black. Then we're going to push this orange back, and we're going to go over and do a single crochet into our next available stitch. Chain 3, pull up a loop. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to turn the corners and how to finish this off when you get back to where you started. So I'll fast forward to the corner. Alright, so I'm at the corner. Orange is actually what I put into the last stitch on the top of the project. So being that this chain that we're going to make is going to have to go around the corner, this time we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that extra chain will give us the length to go around the corner. Pick up the blue, and kind of in the corner where we just put the orange, that's where we're going to put the blue. But the blue doesn't have to go as far as the orange, so we're just going to leave that with the regular chain 3. And chain 1, 2, 3. And here's where we have the longer chain for turning the corner, because this has to go over the blue and around the corner. If your chains are really tight, you may even want to chain 5, but chaining 4 should be fine. So we're going to go over the blue, And we're just going to go next to where we went in, because now we're going down the side where we don't really have any stitches to look at. So we have the blue here. We're just going to go next to the blue, so somewhere like right in here. And try to go through at least 2 strands of yarn when you do this. Chain 3, because we don't have to go around the corner again. Pull up the loop. Now we're going to pick up the blue. I'm just going to continue down the side using the same technique. Remember, every time you go into the side, just make sure you go through 2 strands of yarn so it has a good anchor point. Chain 3. And see how it just kind of nicely turns the corner? Some other places or other videos, they'll put everything into 1 stitch on the corner and then the edge kind of bubbles up, or the corner does, but the sides are fine. So doing it this way, it kind of helps prevent the corner from bubbling up on you. So just continue all the way around your project using this border, and I will show you how to finish up on the other end. Okay, so I've just rounded my last corner, and this is where we want to plan ahead, and this is why we started in the middle on either the top or the bottom of the project, because this is where we joined, and we want the stitch right next to that to be the opposite color to maintain the proper color change pattern going all the way around the border. So you may need to skip a stitch somewhere to make that work. So if I needed to skip a stitch with the orange to make sure that the orange is the color that landed right here next to the blue, I would just chain 4, I would skip this stitch, and I would put it there. And that'll keep the color pattern, and it won't really, you won't notice it, I promise you. Okay, so I'm coming up on my last single crochet in my last available stitch. So you're going to do that single crochet and you're going to chain 3 as normal. Pull up the loop. Then we're going to pick up the blue, because here's where we're going to join blue to blue. So there's our single crochet where we started. So we have our chain 3. We're just going to go into the top of that single crochet, and we're going to join with a slip stitch. Then you would cut your yarn and tie off. You don't have to leave that long of a tail. Just get that out of your way, and now we have orange. And you're going to bring the orange over the blue as normal, and right there is our single crochet where we started with the orange. So you're just going to go into the top of that single crochet. Make sure you're working from the front and you don't trap the blue. And you're going to join that with a slip stitch. cut your yarn and tie off. Alright, so you just want to play with it a little bit, make sure it looks exactly how you want it. And then you would sew in your ends. The blue you can sew down through the project obviously, and the orange you would just weave through the rope that you made. And then you are done with your twisted rope border. Alright, so at this point you should have the main body of the blanket done with your twisted rope border. I'm going to do a separate video on how to make the jack-o'-lantern face, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. This should be plenty of work to keep you busy until Halloween. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you know somebody who's really into Halloween, please tag them on social media. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And the video to make the face for the jack-o'-lantern will be in an end screen at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching.